Shalom, giving all honor, all praise, and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honor to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. And as always, peace, blessings, and salutations unto the for elect tabernacle of David, scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. Yeah, the drums are definitely beating. The drums of war. The third war. You know, as it says in Revelation, the second woe has passed, and lo, the third woe come quickly. And this is as the things are intensifying between these nations. You know, right now it's still heating up between you got Putin in the thick of it with the Ukrainians, and Trump thinking that he's going to be Mr. Peace Man, but he's allowing those Ukrainians to continue to attack the Russian power infrastructure. So they're like, well, as long as Zelensky is still up in there, we're not stopping anything. And so now Trump is acting like, his patience is running thin. He claimed to be pissed with Putin because they're not coming to no agreement. Well, they're thinking, steps ahead because he's getting his ducks in a row. And now the report is starting from today till mid-July. He's decreed a conscription for 160,000 Russians to fill their military service. So, what do you think that's about, or what do you think that's for? Is it for defense, or is it for offense? And he's done this at least 2 to 3 times, since that war between them started, and the numbers have since then increased. So obviously something is getting ready to happen. All right, they're preparing for something. It says the decree says conscription applies to all citizens aged between 18 and 30 and covers the period from April to July. Russian President Vladimir Putin has ordered the conscription of 160,000 military service. The decree, which was reported by news agency Interfax and also published on the government website for legal announcement, says conscription applies to all citizens aged between 18 and 30 and covers the period from April to July. The official statement also said that soldiers, sailors, sergeants, and non-commissioned officers whose conscripted military service has expired will be discharged from military service. The Russian military traditionally holds conscriptions twice a year, once in spring and again in autumn. All right. And they're seeing their numbers are only increasing, because it's not going to die down anytime soon. See, what these nations don't understand is the Mosai is the one who's increasing this conflict, because he's the one that's ultimately generating this war. All right. Remember, like it says in Exodus, the Lord is a man of war. Yahweh is his name. Okay. And there's a time and purpose for everything. There's a time of love. There's a time of hate. There's a time of war and a time of peace. And we're definitely not in a time of peace. And this is the reason why you're going to continue to increase your military apparatus. This is why you're going to continue to do these joint drills. All right. This is why you're going to continue to deploy and mobilize troops everywhere. Move nukes around, test fire nukes. Because deep down that is going to come to an head. All right. It says the autumn conscription, which ran from October to December last year, saw 133 recruits sent to the army for a year of military service. In January last year, Putin signed a law raising the maximum age for conscription from 27 to 30. Russian media has reported that since December last year, staffing in Russia's armed forces has increased to almost 2.4 million, of which 1.5 million are military personnel. So they know that this shit is not going to die down no time soon. All right, and they're gonna. I'm pretty sure they're gonna get more aggressive. Especially if Trump, pulls America back, which will leave NATO to fend for themselves. Russia already, not Russia, the EU has already been talking about getting their nations prepared, by stockpiling, buying these little aid kits and, buy up, the bulk of food and provisions, from the Costco's and whatnot, basically get prepared, so they sense that, something is down the pike. And, right now it's just, wars and rumors of war, it's not the ultimate event yet. That's why in my series, I named it Countdown Till the Third Woe. Okay. And I'm pretty sure, once the news segments come out on this, I'll, put that into production for the next countdown to the third woe. Because hey, there's a lot happening right now. Scriptures say the end, the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So we're moving closer to the third woe. We're still waiting on Trump, all right, to get it popping as far as the MOTB. We the last one of the last things I heard was that Trump had signed an order where they're going to do away with paper checks. Basically no more physical paper checks. Where you take it to MoneyGram, or you take it to one of them check cashing places. All right, Western Union to get your check cash. That's no longer going to be a thing, because there's a new system that's being forwarded. All right, so if they're going digital, even with how you're getting paid, that's a sign to let you know what's coming. But anyway, so I'll put a link to this in the description. So he's getting 160,000, to basically be drafted. This is basically another draft, to get more men into their military personnel. All right. And then also, Iran, they basically warning the U.S. because, Putin came out and basically said that if they don't come to an agreement with this nuclear deal, that prepare for bombings. Basically, there's going to be bombings. It's going to be real bad. And they came out and basically said, well, we're prepared. You attack us, you attack any of our nuclear sites or whatever you think you're going to try to do. There's some sites that's connected to you and the UK that we're going to take out. And then you had here, right? This is the latest that came out today. Times of Israel. Russia warned strikes on Iranian nuclear sites would have catastrophic consequences for a region. And that's exactly what will happen, because Iran, that's still Persia at the end of the day. And they have a very solid navy. We know that they never stopped with their uranium enrichment. So I'm pretty sure they got, plenty to, make more nuclear bombs if they haven't already. And they also recently flexed their underground city with a bunch of missiles. So, we know that this is all the Zionists, pulling the strings on puppet Trump to get them involved in a war with Iran. This is one of the things that they've been wanting to do. All right, destabilizing Iran so that they can have a better force. All right, in that region. Israel keep running into trouble because they fighting all these Iranian proxies. Hezbollah, then you got down there in Yemen, the Houthi rebels. All right, and it ain't a cakewalk. That like they putting up a fight. All right. Last I heard, the U.S. was sending ships, over towards Iran. So who knows what's getting ready to happen? But we know that that's Netanyahu. He's more than likely in Trump's ear, and that's why he's making all these threats. These threats are getting more and more assertive. All right. So if they go ahead and try to nuke or bomb Iran, it's gonna send this thing into overdrive. It's gonna escalate. All right. So it says Russia's deputy foreign minister Sergei Ryabkov is quoted as warning that strikes against Iran's nuclear infrastructure would have catastrophic consequences for the broader region. And remember, they trade, in weapons. They get that uranium from Iran. They get, they trade amongst each other. They're invested in one another. They're allies. So, you attack them, Russia is definitely going to aid Iran. Now, we all should know that the prophecy in Ezekiel 38, which it says that Russia would be a guard unto them. Ezekiel 38, and I'll read verse 3. It says, "And say, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal." That's dealing with Russia. "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring forth in all thine enemies." So the Lord is in control. He gonna put the spirit on them to, gather themselves, prepare. All right. And it seemed like Putin is on a quest to try to regain, some of the old territory of what was once part of the Soviet Union, before the Warsaw Pact. All right. And, they've gotten Crimea, and, for the last few years, they've been working on Ukraine. NATO has been the main one that's been kind of preventing that from happening. But if the U.S. is, backing off, that'll give Russia that advantage. It says, "All of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords." So everybody's basically equipped for war. "Persia," which is modern Iran, "Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet, Gomer and all his bands," and that's dealing with Turkey. All right, I'm pretty sure they're having dilemmas, but eventually we know that they're gonna choose the other side. They're gonna, be more cool with the Russian Iranian alliance. Okay. It says the house of Tergama of the North Quarters, and they don't like Israel, by the way. They don't like the moves that they've been making. They definitely can't stand Netanyahu. All right. "And all his bands and many people with thee, be thou prepared." Prepare for what? War. "And prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them." So Russia is going to be, dragged in, and they already at odds over Ukraine. So them small hats, man, they're going to be the reason that everybody's getting dragged into this final war. Okay. It says U.S. President Donald Trump threatened on Sunday to bomb Iran and impose secondary tariffs on the country if it fails to come to an agreement with Washington over its nuclear program. And he also said after he was pissed with Putin that he would throw tariffs on their oil. So Trump, he just thinking, yeah, well, I'm just gonna come straight on, and I don't care who gets mad, And the other side, they're not really budging. They don't really care. All right. Putin, he seemed to be diplomatic with Trump, but as time goes and knowing how egos are, and how arrogant and proud Esau is, eventually they're gonna start clashing. All right, they're not gonna agree, and they're gonna start to clash. So it's only falling right into the Most High's purpose. All right. He said Ryabkov, in a magazine interview quoted by Russian state media, condemns what he called Trump's ultimatums to Iran. We consider such methods inappropriate. We condemn them, he says. So yeah, and they have to be a guard unto them. So, giving them that ultimatum, and you try to do something, you're gonna force their hand. And I don't see them directly just coming straight, into it, but I'm pretty sure they will. If the U.S. actually attacks, Russia is definitely going to give aid to Iran to defend themselves. They might be able to, intercept, whatever is coming their way from the U.S. Or they might, use Russian-made weapons to attack U.S. bases and, UK bases. I read somewhere they was talking about we'll take out the what they called it, the Diego something. All right, but it pertains to the U.S. and the U.K. So once they start attacking, important infrastructures, and things pertaining to them, that's when it's gonna kick off even more. So, this is the signs that we're getting closer. So let me get that in Matthew 24 in verse 6, and it says, "And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against kingdom." It's like your nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, which is what we see happening, over there in that hotbed. Okay. "And there shall be famines and pestilences," epidemics, diseases, "and earthquakes." You just had that big 7.7 hit over there in Thailand, Burma, Bangkok, and they're saying that it's at least over 2,000 people that they found dead so far, and the numbers is rising. The tolls are still tolling. They say it could be up to 10,000 people. So yeah, man, we're seeing it in real time. Earthquakes in diverse places. You had a 7.1 that hit right off the coast of the island of Tonga, afterwards, and they had a tsunami warning. So Mosai is he ain't playing around. It says all these are the beginning of sorrows, and that's where we at. And let me get this in Joel. It's Joel 3:9. It says, "Proclaim you this among the Gentiles, prepare war." And the Lord's putting that spirit into the hearts of these leaders, these foreign ministers, prime ministers, all right, to get them ready. Proverbs 21:1, the heart of the king is in the hands of the Most High, and like as river of living water, he stirreth it whithersoever he will. Yeah, So he's getting them prepared. It says, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And right now, Iran, they're certain that, they're ready for any kind of smoke. And they're going to retaliate. It's going to be dire consequences. And Russia is warning the same thing. So this is the Most High mustering the host of the battle. Okay. Assemble yourselves and gather all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about till the cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which means the Most High judgment. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So these nations are getting lined up. Okay. So, like I said, I'll leave a link in the description, for you and you brothers that want to, read through it. This is just part of, the wars and rumors of wars that's going to lead to the ultimate, final world's war, the war of Harmageddon. So anyway, with that, I'm going to give all honor, all praise, and glory to Yahweh Shem Shai. And until the next lesson, Shalom.